Hey again, guys, and welcome back. Um, Something a little different today. When I bought my house, my wife and I, when we bought our house back in 2012, I guess, my old man took all, or not all, but a lot of his old tools and put them in a box and said, Here, you know, in case you need something, you got it. There was a bunch of good tools in there. And this old Bosch drill, I don't know what year this is from, but made in Switzerland. Pretty neat. So this thing does function. So it'll go, what's this, clockwise? Counterclockwise. Goes counterclockwise, and then you flip it into reverse, and nothing. So I really don't know what's wrong with it, and that's what I'm going to attempt to do today, to see what's wrong with it. No guarantees. I don't really know what to expect. Oh, those are number 1 Phillips. I think I'm going to have to take all this apart. Damn. So yeah, I don't know what to expect. May not be able to fix this. And if I can't, well then, I can't. What do we have down there? Seems usually you can take the chuck off by putting a screwdriver in there and then unscrewing it, but it seems like this one here has flats on this shaft, because I know we're gonna have to take this off before we get anywhere. Let me see if I have a wrench for this, and if I don't, this video may be dead in the water. Okay, I got it loose, but it's definitely not the proper way. So I found an 11 mil wrench, fits in there. I put a Allen key in the hole here and spun, and now there we go. So the chuck is now off, which is nice. So, that's not the proper way to use these tools, but hey, if it works, it works. Plus, most of my tools are at work. This is just my home gamer stuff. Ah, god damn it. Missed 2 screws. That's the problem. Okay, well, this is interesting. Very interesting indeed. So if you look here, you've got, this is the fan. So this pulls air in and through. Probably from the center out, so it sucks in here and then blows this way. Got some gears here. So you got a massive gear reduction, but only one stage. Got a big bearing and all this lube. This is nice. This shaft is one piece, and this shaft is one piece. So now, what does the reversing has to be inside here. Oh, there's tape on here too. Let's take this off. This is the cable clamp. There we go. See, it bit down hard into the wire there. Okay, and the switch here. So this switch is just years and years of use and abuse. Okay, oh, here's the reversing mechanism. It's actually separate from the switch, which is very interesting. Let's see if I can pull these wires out here. So it just looks like these wires are going off to the brushes. Oh yeah, look at that. There's your brush holders there. Wow, they just sit neatly into the plastic molding here. And so the switching is all inside here. Are these staked in or are they screwed? Oh, they're just pinned. Okay, so they're like terminals. I have colored Sharpies here, so I'm gonna put red on here and red on here. Hopefully it doesn't get rubbed off. Blue on here, blue on there. Should be able to pull the pin out. It just literally goes to the brush holder. And I'll put the brush back into its housing this way. I could just rest it in there. Okay. On the other side, put green and green. And then this one, black and black. Oops, rubbed off some of the black there. That's okay, it's still there. So somewhere inside, this thing's not working. Let's move this aside and see if we can pry open the top of this thing. Also being very careful, this is very old plastic, but it has little little clips on the side here. Should be able to open them up. It is flipping, it's just probably dirty contacts on the inside. And I can see why. Oh boy, I think this might be glued. Because that is, if you see, it is flipping the little contact back and forth. I'm not sure if this was ever meant to be opened. I don't know if it's glued. Definitely looks like it's clipped in. But is it clipped in and glued? That's the question. I think it might be glued. Oh, no, I think we got some success. And there we go. This here is the little flipping contact from one side to another. Oh, and I just flipped it. Oh, I touched some grease. Flipped it all the way out. So this little guy hooks in this way, and these little bars here rub onto the inside of here where we have contacts. Now, the issue is this actually looks okay. You can see that there's copper all the way through those contacts. So why isn't this working? So if I put this back in, will it work or will it not? See how the contacts look good here. It just seems like in one direction, this here will be connected to this outer one, and in the other direction, this one here will be connected to this outer one. And it seems to me like all of this copper is nice. I don't see any corrosion or anything to attribute a problem to. And these little pegs, little contacts here, are still intact. They have a lot of spring left in them. So I'm not sure where the problem lies. There we go. I guess I can always try reassembling it and seeing what happens. So there's the switch. This brush is awfully stiff. Take all the brush goobers off of it. It's a little bit better. Okay, pop that brush back in its holder. Make sure the angle is correct. Like so. Okay. Now I can put my wires. Maybe I'll clean this brush too while I'm at it. A little bit of chippage on this brush. It's had a little bit of a harder life. Still not too bad. Okay, put this back in. A lot of tension on these brushes, which is probably a good thing. Okay. Get this guy back in there. Pin this back in. So this switch being separate, didn't think it was going to be problematic. I thought it was going to be all inside one module, but I guess not. And that has to go back there and click over the end here, like that. We'll do the wires that were on the bottom. So I need the black lead. That's blue. That's black. Pop the black lead in here. There we go. I need the green lead. Could be one of these bottom ones for sure. Yeah, there's green there. Pop this green lead in there. if this doesn't work, I really don't know what is wrong, because like, this is all I can see. Red will go back in here. And blue would be the last one. This way. And clearly the forward direction was working. I don't know why the reverse does not. That's what we're here to find out. Clip this guy back over the edge here. Pop this guy back in its place. Like that. Put this brush back down from whence it came. Like that. Compress the brush spring and everything. Get these guys back in their channel over here. I think that brush is upside down. Doesn't seem to be sitting correctly. Not sure if that's truly the way it went, but now the brush is sitting flat at least. Okay, that's cool. Put this on here. Oh, gotta put the strain relief back on. My hands smell like old electronics now. Always, they have that same smell. I don't know why. Just smells like old equipment. My old oscilloscope I have smells exactly the same. Pretty interesting that this piece of strain relief plastic here is different to the rest of it. Also certainly seems as though someone's been in here before. Okay, there we go. Pop this guy back over. And we put the screws in. This will crimp down on the cable real hard. Now I can't really start this thing without the case on, because the case does hold things in place. So we're gonna have to reassemble it most of the way. I could probably try to just hold it down and see what happens. Put this back together. 2 halves. Well, let's give it a shot. So this still goes in reverse. If I flip it the other way, oh man, in both directions now it goes the same way. That's not cool. What have we done? All the wires went back where they were supposed to go. Does this make a... There we go. Maybe that's flipped now. Maybe it just needed a little bit of encouragement. Plug this back in. It works. So that's reverse. I feel as though I've lost some travel. If I pull this, the rest of the way, seems to work. Hard to say. Whoops, the switch is actually getting stuck in the casing. Keeping in mind, this is now live at 120 volts in there. Okay, so it does work. I just need to flick it far enough. So I do think this is fixed. Whatever was in the way before is no longer in the way. So I'm going to reassemble this and we're going to give it a test and see if when the case is back on, if it's still behaving properly. So I'll bring you back then. Back together now. So reverse works. But forward, not anymore still. And I have figured out the problem, I believe. It is a... There we go. It's a mechanical problem. The slop in the linkage, and I've just noticed that this trigger is actually broken. So the slop plus the broken trigger means it couldn't fully get clicked over. So you just give it a little bit of throttle. There we go. And you pull the switch up and then it works. Well, I'm glad this thing's not due for the trash because most of the times I need a plug-in drill when I'm doing drilling, because to bore a couple holes in wood and then put some screws, that doesn't take a lot of effort. But to drill into metal, let's say 10, 15, 20 holes, that could take a while. And so that's why I prefer the plug-in type for drilling holes. And if this only works in reverse, that's no good for me. I need it to work in forward. And so now that I figured this out, I think we're good to go. Sorry it wasn't a crazy good electronics video, but I hope you learned something. I know I did. Thanks for watching.